This is a quick playthrough of Miami Vice for MS-DOS. Let's have a quick look at the original credits, and then I'll show you an alternate set of credits that I whipped up for Cairns, Queensland, Australia. The kite surfer is yours truly, and all the other images are photos that I took. There is one out of place, a little trip to the snow. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that Queensland version of the intro credits. Let's have a look now at the initial setup. You can type install exe and it will take you through a few screens. You can choose VGA. I went for number 5, soundblaster, and you can choose mouse, keyboard or joystick controls. You fire up the game using the command MVG, which took me about 5 minutes to figure out. Let's listen to the in-game music.
You're a serious slime ball.
And we're off and running, as Film and Stuff said. A nice little voice sample of the characters there. Although I would say that the way they phrased it, it make it sound like it's talking to you and calling you a slime ball, which probably isn't the best opening sequence in a game ever. But we're off and running, and the reason I'm reviewing this game at all is I just found Film and Stuff's commentary so funny about how he was trying to get through these first few levels. So I just thought I'd take up the challenge and see if I could figure it out for myself. So as Film and Stuff said, there's this strange sequence of hitting these 3 buttons in a certain order. I've been lucky here and I've managed to get 2 out of 3 yellow lights straight up, and I think I get even the 3rd light without too much of a worry. I've played this game for a couple of hours now and I still have very little idea as to what on earth that algorithm is to open those. I've leapt up and had a pot shot at the baddie there, but he ran off screen. I did jump up there once quick enough to shoot him in the back, but the bullet just kept on sailing through, so pretty sure they weren't thinking about you actually being able to hit these guys.
But I am damn tired of dodging these bullets.
Complaining about a lack of bullets. As Film and Stuff said, you just keep pushing through here. You shoot a few bridges. The guy dropping the crotch bombs is dropping them faster than ever. and so you've got to be pretty quick at this point or you will wear it. And I agree with Film and Stuff. It would be pretty hard to know what to do here. I had the benefit of his knowledge, and you just simply make your way across the little bridge. The graphics do grow on you after a while, but it is basically just a platformer. I do like the way you can toggle. Now here's the part that was very mystifying, and after a few fails myself, I did find a way to make your way through this level. And the key is that when you play with keyboard control, you'll find that you press one button to start them walking, and you can press the same button to stop them. When you get thrown into this car level, your instinct is to just hold the button down, and when you hold the button down, you'll start moving, but you'll also instantly stop, and so your instinct is to just keep mashing the button, which gives you that sort of shuddering side to side. So after about 3 goes, it finally occurred to me, just tap the button once to start moving and tap it again to stop. You get the hang of it. The other thing you'll notice about this water level is it's suspiciously similar layout to the car level. So they basically decided to save a bit of time with the old layout of the route. They did lower the tone of the bullets by about 10 Hertz just to make it feel like a totally new experience. The speedboats are actually easier to navigate through the little corners than the car. The car's actually quite wide, and you're flat out getting it through the chicanes. The other thing is that the little side-to-side motion of your opponent there is all pretty much prescriptive, so once you've had a few practices, you'll come up with a bit of a method to Here's another little level. This time they've gone all out and pretty much made it a side-to-side shootout. It looks like it's easier than the last few levels, but it actually has a few little tricks up its sleeve. You can tend to get distracted and actually clip into those little sidewalls if you're not careful. But once you get used to it, it's actually probably a bit easier than the last car level. The little grey bars down the bottom are actually the damage indicator, and the top darker bar is your damage and the lower lighter grey bar is their damage, and so as long as the bottom bar is larger than the top bar, you'll be alright. You can see they really went all out with the sound effects in this part of the game. And once again they're calling the player a slime ball. This level's not too hard once you realise there are a few nice little safe hidey holes. And so you just walk the 2 players up. I actually enjoyed the way you have to alternate between the 2 players. In some of the levels, the swapping between player can be quite tricky, and I did get it wrong quite a few times. An example of that is down the bottom here. You might try and race over to the right hand side of the screen, but if you try and do things too quick, because you have to alternate between the two players, if you had been walking across Crockett at that point, old Tubbs would have worn that.
You're a serious slime.
This is an example where you have to be careful and alternate between the two players in the right sequence. So the little bombs are dropping, basically alternating between the two players, and that can sometimes leave your second player vulnerable. I had a bit of trouble swapping between players quickly enough, and I've made a bit of a mistake there, but still got a few lives left, so just have to be very patient. Now this is a point where Film and Stuff said you can have trouble getting down the ladders. If I don't get down that ladder, I was going to wear that, so I had 3 goes at that, just got down in time. I found this part pretty interesting gameplay. I remember some of the old Mega Man X games. You used to have to play as the as Mega Man, and then sometimes you'd swap to an alternate character like the little robotic dog. And I haven't played many games where you have to alternate between 2 players like this, and it is more tricky than it might look.
To the causeway. Press me, little bugger.
Now at this point I was wondering if there was something wrong with my graphics, because everything went black, but there's a little bit of a voice sample in there that says something about we've got to go under the causeway, and so for some reason I thought that this might be deliberate, that you're in a dark place and the point is that you're going to have trouble finding your way out. And this immediately reminded me of the old Zelda games, where there were some levels where you had to make your way across pretty much an invisible set of platforms, and in the Zelda game I think you had a certain item that could help you with that, but at a different point you pretty much just had to nudge your way across. So in this case the method is that you have to move across slowly and continually press up until you find the little hidden ladders. At this point, because the 2 characters are getting towards the top of the screen, you have to be faster in dodging the little bombs that are coming down, and this little part of the level is quite tricky because you have to really manage, you have to be aware of which person you're controlling, and you only get a little window of time to explore for that last little link. The last level, the last ladder to the highest level, I should say. So here I am just slowly scanning my way through, and one method I was using was to use the 2 characters as a bit of bookends, and I'm slowly working my way in here now. There we go now, so I only just dodged that bomb, and if you end up leaving one character high and one low at this point, then the one who's up the top will just get instantly hit by a bomb and you'll die very quickly. So what I'm doing here is getting ready to make a quick dash with both characters up the ladder. Having trouble finding it in the dark, so I'm just slowly working my way in. Once you've dodged that bomb, you got to go, and then the second guy up straight up. At this point, they decide to stop dropping bombs, which is good because you'd just die at this point. As I'm walking across here, I'm showing there's a little keyboard mapping where you can actually raise and lower your gun at will without having to shoot it.
But I am damn tired of dodging these bullets.
So this level's looking pretty stock standard. I actually found this one pretty easy. There's only one bomber. He's dropping them at the faster speed, but you get so much time to dodge. I didn't find this one all that hard. And once you get up the top, they run away again. Here I am having a pot shot at him, but I think the graphics were getting a bit screwed up at this point, and I don't think a bullet even got rendered at that point. I thought that this would be a good sort of prelude to the big boss battle, because you can see there's a hedge and a fancy gate, and so I thought that you'd be kicking down the gates and going into the big mansion in the background. However, there was a disappointment. The game just wraps you back to the same screen as the start. There is one badge on the boss's desk that wasn't there before, but unfortunately this explains the mysterious 3 empty badges in the status bar. Bottom left of the corner, you'll now see one of the 3 is filled in, but the game's wrapped you back to the start, like those old Nintendo Game & Watch. Once you clock the game, it just throws you back to the start. A thought's just occurred to me that I wonder if, now that you've got 1 out of the 3 badges, whether there might be a few extra bonus stages if you could be bothered to actually push your way through the whole game all over again. That would be kind of interesting, but I'm not sure I'll be doing that for a while. So this is about it. I think the pattern actually stays the same from the first time, so in this case it's quite similar. So anyway, that's the most of the game wrapped up, and the main thing with the driving level is to select the keyboard method of control by using the install script at the beginning, install.exe, choose keyboard, and when you're driving just try tapping left and right once to start moving and once to stop, and you'll find that the car is actually able to be controlled. So thanks to Film and Stuff for bringing this to our attention, and hopefully you've enjoyed watching this playthrough. Thanks, and see you next time. Just a quick bonus section at the end. Just as I was editing this video, I was able to track down the funny little glitch that happens between stage 1 and 2. It just seems to be a picture of the game the TV series characters, which has somehow made its way into the game, and it just seems to be a bit of a glitch, and here's the 2 images that pop up. Thanks again, see you, bye.